The Natalee Holloway case shocked millions. Her killer, a Dutch citizen who was already behind bars at Peru's notorious Challapalca Prison by the time he confessed. But just how bad is prison life for Joran van der Sloot? You might be surprised. In June 2005, van der Sloot was the prime suspect in the disappearance of Natalee Holloway, who vanished from Aruba while on a high school class trip. Her disappearance remained unsolved for more than 18 years. Then, in October 2023, van der Sloot finally confessed, admitting to beating the teen to death after she refused his advances, then dumping her body in the ocean.
He said that after killing her on the beach in Aruba, he put her into the water, and that was the last that he ever saw her.
The confession was part of a plea deal with the U.S. in response to federal charges of wire fraud and extortion. Van der Sloot had attempted to extort $250,000 from Holloway's family with a promise to tell them where he'd dumped their daughter's body. He couldn't be charged with Holloway's murder because Aruba's 12-year statute of limitations had already passed. He ultimately received a 20-year sentence for the extortion attempt. Van der Sloot is serving that sentence concurrently with a Peruvian prison sentence for the brutal 2010 murder of Stephanie Flores in Lima, Peru. He met the 21-year-old Flores, a business student from a prominent Peruvian family, at a Lima casino, then strangled and beat her to death in his hotel room. It was 5 years to the day after Holloway went missing.
The pain that we're feeling will never go away.
Van der Sloot has been incarcerated since June 2010, when Chilean authorities arrested him after he fled Lima a few days after Flores' murder. After Chile extradited him to Peru, van der Sloot pleaded guilty to killing Flores and was sentenced by a 3-judge panel in January 2012. In 2014, the killer married and fathered a daughter, later filing for divorce when he began an affair with a younger woman. As of February 2024, multiple outlets have reported that he receives conjugal visits from 3 different women, including a long-term girlfriend. In April 2024, 2 inmates attacked him in a common area of Challapalca Prison, a maximum security penitentiary in Peru's highlands. He escaped with only minor injuries, but according to an unnamed Peruvian prison official who spoke with the New York Post, many people want him dead. Van der Sloot has been held at 3 different Peruvian prisons to date. In addition, he spent time in the Hoover City Jail in Alabama during the sentencing process for the charges related to the Holloway case. His lawyers said van der Sloot was happy to be in a U.S. jail, even if only for a short time, because the conditions in the Peruvian prison system were, quote, horrific. Among the Peruvian prisons where he's served times are Miguel Castro Prison in Lima, Piedras Gordas Prison, and Challapalca Prison. Prison officials have moved van der Sloot amid allegations that he has received special treatment, including having internet access and a cell phone.
He told me at one time that he could play online gambling. He had a cell phone for a while. He called me.
The prisoner's current home at Challapalca Prison is likely the worst to date. Besides being overcrowded and filthy, Challapalca is isolated high in the Andes Mountains, which is one reason why a report by the humanitarian organization Amnesty International claims the prisoners there may be suffering cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment.